Welcome to, what is this, episode 3 Minicast, I think? Yeah, I think we're on that. We're here with the two of us. That's be me, Derek.
And me, Bella.
Yeah, and we are going to be talking about conspiracy theories. And why they're so fun to talk about. Because I know with me, I researched this for about an hour, and
Yeah.
I went to some crazy shit. I will also say, for the first time when I was on a conspiracy theory website, my computer crashed.
Uh-oh. They didn't want you to find out.
Exactly. There was something on there that there was like a hidden...
The hidden knowledge
Someone put a worm in it.
Yeah, they didn't want you to find out about.
So let's get into the idea behind conspiracy theories.
So conspiracy theories are just any sort of idea in which some group of people or person is perpetrating some conspiracy against them or the world or whatever it is they believe in, and you are the Cassandra truth. You alone are able to discern that this is happening, and it's appealing to feel that way, to think you have some sort of esoteric knowledge about the world, to think that you know what's going on and you can tell other people what's going on,
and you're the first to find out.
You're the first to find out. It's people are sort of confused and afraid about the world, and they try to make sense of the world. And so the result of things that they don't understand becomes conspiracy theories for the most part. That's basically what it is. And there's so many examples of it too, really. There really are.
Oh yeah.
I know you've probably found a couple of good ones.
Oh, I've found quite a few good ones.
Yeah.
Quite a few good ones.
I mean, there's of course, there's the standard fare, like the moon landing, aliens, all those kinds of things. But then there's the lesser known ones too. Also, that I was
right.
You probably got.
I didn't know that there was a conspiracy theory that Hillary Clinton had died, and this was a body double enacting as Hillary Clinton.
I haven't heard about that one. That's kind of crazy to think of. But
I don't think there's anything to support it. But and then there's other ones like the Beatles were never actually the same guys each time. It was different actors.
Yeah, I've heard about that one. Yeah,
the Beatles, but it's like they sound awfully the same.
Yeah,
those are different people each time.
They match the voices. They're really good impersonators.
They are really good at it. But I guess it's easier to do than you think.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know. And so there's been a lot that, in recent years, there's been a lot of like really popular ones, and they're mostly related to whoever's in office at that point in time. Yeah. So for the last 8 years, we've had President Obama, and of course, there's been the grand conspiracy that he's a secret Muslim or something like that.
Yes.
And or he's not born in this country. So where's the birth certificate? Exactly. That's been the biggest one that's been in recent memory.
Didn't that even come up in the latest election?
It did.
A little bit.
So in 2012, you had the birther movement, because you had Donald Trump talking about, I am going to find out. I'm going to have my people go to Hawaii, and what you're finding you won't even believe.
Right.
And then I guess this time around he had to sort of disown it because he's running for president again, and obviously can't say that again. But, so yeah, I think it came up because people were asking about it from the last time.
I'm pretty sure it got released, right?
Yeah, it did.
It got the actual one.
When Obama did his last correspondence dinner, where he roasted Trump during it, he released his birth certificate like 2 days before.
Right.
So yeah,
perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect timing for it. But yeah, so those are some of the more common and more well understood ones from recent memory. Okay. But then there's the sort of lesser known silly ones.
I think one of my favorites that I haven't even found out until recently is that the Earth is flat.
The Earth is flat?
You know about this?
I didn't know the Earth was flat.
Do you know about this there's a whole conspiracy area now. There's people like tens of thousands that are like traffic onto this website now of this. The Earth is flat.
I actually have a good one for you about that. I did see on Twitter one time, they have a Twitter apparently, the Flat Earth Society, and they said our membership is all around the world. And then somebody responded to that. Read that again slowly.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. So,
well, some of the logic that I heard about this, like this guy was saying like, okay, defend flat Earth just real quick, just go. And the guy's like, well, if you watch a ship floating off into the distance, it looks like it's going off over the horizon, but if you get something that zooms in on it, the ship fully appears back into view again. And you can keep doing this.
Right.
Like if you keep getting a stronger and stronger lens, then you can just keep doing this. Like,
isn't there like a basketball player that believes in the flat Earth? I think there is.
That sounds I'm
sure there is. I don't know who it is, but yeah. So you're right. Flat Earth conspiracy.
Kyrie Irving, I think.
I think that might be it. But yeah, it's sort of crazy to believe now when we have we have imaging of the planet. It is a sphere.
There's satellites
I'm sorry.
orbiting.
Here's the
the
problem
planet.
with that, Derek. It's a flat Earth that you're looking because it's a picture of the Earth and it's flat there. You see,
it is flat.
It's just a circle, and that's all it is. That's all it must be, right?
Yeah.
So I guess even if you believe in that, that must still not be good enough for you.
So does Antarctica make the perimeter of the Earth?
Apparently.
Is that how
when you look
the
at
North Pole is the center?
When you look at one of those geographic maps, yes, and the Antarctica is all distorted by the way that it's displayed. No, it's not distorted. It just really is that shape along the bottom.
It just really is.
It just really is. They've never been there, but they just believe that it must be.
Well, they've shown how many times that you can't actually map something flat that's round.
Right.
I mean, you'll go to a place that should be land and there's not. It's still water. The land's for another X amount of miles. It's like.
Well, you should ask any flat earther if they were to drive a stake in the ground and look at the shadow of that's cast by that stake, and you were to plant it several miles down the way, in such a way that the curvature of the Earth would distort them. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if they did that experiment, they would believe it's not flat then, right? They would believe that, right?
I don't know.
Would they change their mind?
I
don't
have
know.
no idea.
I don't know.
That's what the Egyptians did to find the radius of the
Yeah,
Earth.
that's right. They measure
shadows.
So back then they figured it out, but somehow we forgot about that, I guess. Or maybe that was just part of the conspiracy theory, because the Egyptians were in on it. I don't know.
I don't know. I've never thought of it like that. Egyptians are in on a conspiracy.
Apparently so.
Okay.
To those people, I guess.
Me,
to those people, I guess. See, that's the thing.
Me.
That's the thing about conspiracies, though, is when you are enamored with an idea, which a conspiracy theorist is usually, like they're not really concerned about discerning truth. They don't really care about what's true,
right?
Because again, they're scared people trying to make sense of the world, and they're trying to do it with some kind of constructed idea that they came up with. So therefore, they're the arbiter of it being true.
Right.
They alone are.
I'm gonna put logic towards my opinions,
to
try and make it like fit my narrative.
So it's all apologetics. All of it becomes that. So
I gotcha.
Whenever you sort of poke holes in it, they just see that as a new challenge to sort of justify the whole overall idea. They don't see it as a challenge to maybe the idea is true or not. It's, well, I have to find some way to explain what you've just said to me and back up what I've been saying before. So if you were to point that out, yes, they would then say things like that if they were true believers in the idea.
Sure.
So yeah.
So
that's how that works. They sort of cover it up, their ideas, in a way that allows them to still believe in the bullshit, even if even if it doesn't quite make any sense. That's sort of the cognitive dissonance they have to deal with. But yeah, do you got any other good ones? That
I mean, just the completely horseshit ones.
Lay some on me. I'd like to hear some more.
Well, I mean, we what do we talk about so far? We got into flat Earth. We've got into. I don't think we touched Area 51 that much, but honestly, there's so many different ones with Area 51.
All right, how about this one?
Tough one to hit.
George Bush had a secret weather controlling machine that he used to create Hurricane Katrina because he hates black people. Oh, it must be true.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. I'm kind of amazed.
How do you even come up with this?
I don't know. I'm amazed that someone thought of that one.
Rather impressive that that's even possible to do.
I don't even know. Well, I mean, another one that's come up a lot recently is people denying the Holocaust ever existed.
Yeah, that's
bullshit. that one.
How can you say?
That's I don't know how. That's the thing. It's a recorded fact. How do you not know that happened?
I don't understand how you can think this.
I just don't know how you can think that, and yet. People do, apparently. It's just amazing that people would think that.
Did these people just die? Like, do they deny that people died? Or is it just that how they died?
I'm going to be charitable. I'm going to say, they don't deserve me being charitable, but I'm just going to say that it's so horrible and horrendous what happened in the Holocaust.
Yeah.
That it's so terrible that the only way that those people can justify something so horrible happening is that it just didn't happen. Because it would be
just deny it.
It's so horrible to them. As it should be. It should be horrible.
It is.
But unfortunately for them, they go to the route of saying, well, it's so horrible that can't be real. And that's not just on the Holocaust. There are people who deny that Sandy Hook existed. People are saying that the children were crisis actors. Like, I can't believe people actually believe that kind of stuff. That really happened.
Right, it did. The only thing that I have heard on Sandy Hook that might have a little bit of thing in it is some of the parents interviewed may have been actors.
Oh, I didn't know about that one.
Maybe.
Okay.
Just because, well, at the same time, I would feel like an absolute piece of crap if I was like, how do you feel about your child just dying and you just put them on TV like that?
Yeah, well,
It's
I
like,
mean, I don't know about that one, but
I don't know if that's true or not.
I know
I'm not
that
saying either way. That's the only thing that I kind of could see. Maybe the people interviewed were actors. Maybe. I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying they weren't. I don't know. They probably weren't. They probably were the actual parents. They may have been. I don't know. Hard to say.
It's hard to say.
So
that's for sure.
Anyway, we both have the same wiki list.
Yeah, we're sort of looking at different parts here to sort of
browsing
because
here.
you hear, of course, about all the common ones, but you don't hear about all these more obscure ones a lot.
Yeah.
And here's one. I mean, this one, if you're familiar with it, okay, then fine. But the Department of Defense apparently was experimenting with HARP, which is a secret program to control the weather and I guess control your mind. Apparently, I don't know where these people get these ideas from. Honestly, I guess idea. Just if any government agency is doing something, the only goal must be mind control. That must be it. That must be in their mind. The only thing that's going on. I just don't know.
Don't know. I'm not against the idea that you can control the weather just because there's nothing in physics that says you can't, but that doesn't mean it's like available now.
Yeah. How about this one, Derek?
That's rough.
Okay. CERN is using the Large Hadron Collider to open a portal to hell or change reality. That one hits close to home for you. So is that happening, Derek? Are you in on the conspiracy?
No. You can't even do that. That's not possible.
Change reality with it? Let's go to change reality.
I agree with... Okay.
Is it changing reality?
You're going to make some slight black holes, but they're so small they just dissipate.
Okay. Through Hawking radiation.
Yes.
Okay. Don't you love that? Well, see, but people are afraid of it though because it's a gigantic structure and they don't understand what's going on.
They don't know what's going on.
So it must be a gate to hell apparently for them.
I guess so.
I guess so.
All scientists are trying to cover up cold fusion.
Cover up cold fusion?
As in, it is possible, and they're just trying to cover up the idea that it's not possible. It's actually not possible. I have taken classes that deal with thermodynamics. It is not possible. Don't believe anyone that tells you cold fusion is possible. The end. Stop doing it. The math doesn't work out. Oh, here's another one, too. The AIDS is not caused by HIV infection. I don't even know where to go with that one.
I don't even know about that one. That's crazy. Okay, I'll give you an old classic one, I guess. The world is secretly ruled by the Rothschild family, who are a family of extremely successful and powerful bankers. The evidence? They're Zionists. Ooh, I don't even know. This is one of those things that like Alex Jones types of people will talk about a lot. It's one of those things where sometimes it's just sort of fashionable to believe in these ideas. Like if you're a conspiracy theorist, you just sort of come across this information because now that we have the internet, a lot of this stuff is a lot more accessible to more people, and so they will share these ideas with each other, and they sort of make each other crazy then by doing that. So if you didn't know about that before, you'll be one of these people who knows someone who's talking about that kind of stuff, and you'll learn about it that way.
Right.
So even if you didn't believe it yourself, you'll come out believing it because you heard it from someone else. So they kind of sort of craze each other doing that in the way that they do about it. Of course. I mean, what even is the Rothschilds family like?
I have no idea.
Like it's just supposed to be this idea that a powerful family. Now, I've actually heard about the Rothschilds before from a crazy friend that I had one time talking about them. They were.
Was it Alex Jones?
It was not Alex Jones.
Oh, okay.
I am not friends with Alex Jones.
Why not?
I do not like him.
Anyway.
But no friend of mine. But they talked about like the Rothschilds were involved in some conspiracy where they would wipe out like most of the population of the Earth. So what end? I don't know why they could have the whole Earth to themselves. Then I don't understand that.
Speaking of the Earth, you've seen the one where the Earth is hollow and there's like a secret society.
The hollow Earth,
it?
Where it's a secret society.
There's like the Nazis are there, alien races are there, reptilians are there.
Yeah, they're all there together. Right?
Well, that's where they would go, right? And there's entrances at both North and South poles to get there.
At the North and South poles. So the penguins are guarding these entrances to the hollow Earth.
And the polar bears in the other. I don't know where they come up with this.
Here's the best one. The best one that the cranks of today love talking about is the Illuminati.
Ooh.
Okay.
Secret societies.
The secret societies, yes, and there are some people on YouTube who make videos about, oh, I've exposed their part of the Illuminati,
Yeah.
and their evidence for it, Derek, is, well, there's a triangle here, and there's like an eye there, so they're Illuminati. So basically, find any geometric shape in some like celebrity's video or something, and that means they're part of the secret society.
Yeah.
To what end?
They don't know they are. They're part of it.
Yeah, they don't even know. So, okay, so maybe you're listening to this and you believe in some conspiracy theory. So let me just ask you some questions, just because you might possibly be believing in bullshit. And here's how you can find out if you are. Okay? If you believe in some conspiracy, let me ask you, how large is this conspiracy supposed to be? How vast and wide is this conspiracy that you believe in?
In terms of people that believe in it, or
well, like, does it
outcome?
cover, like, is it like a state conspiracy?
Okay.
Is it a country? Is it a worldwide conspiracy?
Okay.
You know, and then yes, how many people are part of it? Okay, is it like 1 or 2 people are part of it? Is it a whole secret society like the Illuminati? What is this thing you're talking about?
Right.
Okay, you know, and when you have a giant conspiracy, like, what is the resources it takes to manage a whole like world conspiracy like the Illuminati, for example? You know, like, what does it take to actually do that? You know, where are the meetings held? What kind of money has to be spent organizing the meetings? If you have thousands of people in this organization, the Illuminati, for example, let's say, okay, how do they keep membership? Are there membership cards for the Illuminati? If there's cards for the Illuminati, how is one of them not dropped it by accident?
I know,
and it
right?
gotten into the news? Oh my goodness, there's the Illuminati cards. You know, it just
the accidental production of the new iPhone was left on a bar for people to just find and get. Like, there was one of those.
Yeah, just one of those was there.
There was
somewhere,
only one of those,
you know?
and it exposed itself. Of course, that could have been planted there so people like think it's
I've been sort of asking this before, but like, you know, what is to be gained from maintaining this conspiracy? Like, what's the point of it? You know, there always is this focus on like the fact that there is this secret society, but like, what is it trying to do even? And that one they don't
control money
apparently, or control the people. You know, some vagary like that, right? Like, there's no real explanation for it.
Right.
But see, here's my favorite thing. Okay, for anyone who does think that, okay, if it is this sophisticated, really well thought out, planned, very clandestine sort of organization, how did you find out about it? You're just some person on the internet. How did you find out? And by the way, if you found out about it, why haven't they gotten rid of you then? You know, how is it that you aren't like next on the chopping block for them? I always have to wonder, like, how is it?
Why would they allow this information to be on the internet?
Yeah, it's
if
like,
it was actually exposing.
Like, that's the thing. Like, so they're both really competent, organized, and clever, but they're also really stupid. Like, how are they both of those at the same time?
Right.
Maybe just you're that. Okay, I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe you just happen to think two contradictory things, not that there just happens to be something that is contradictory like that, you know.
Maybe.
Or like okay, let's talk about like chemtrails. Okay, so they're really secret about the chemtrails. Okay, if we're to believe them.
So say for the audience, what are chemtrails?
So chemtrails are just one conspiracy theory out there where, if you look in the sky and you see an airplane overhead, you'll see that there is sort of a cloud trail of their
from the exhaust of the jet. Yeah.
Right. So some people believe, oh, well, see, that's not just exhaust from a jet. That's actually secret chemicals being spread into people. So
it's DDT.
It's DDT. So what I have to ask you is, okay, since you have no real evidence to support this besides your own assertion of it, if it is a secret conspiracy that is doing this, how is it that you thinking that is valid, but the giant conspiracy is so secret that only you get to know about it? How did you find out about it? You know, it's one of those things where how is it that ordinary people come to think that they somehow are in on this grand secret, and what were they initiated? Are they part of it? It's like, how do they know?
Well, even if you do spread something poisonous,
and then
through a jet engine,
that would be measurable.
Through a jet engine,
like, so the
what
only
part of it is
so
going to
the
be
only
left
way
after it leaves?
The only way you could then believe that it's still part of the conspiracy when it's something that's available in the air and you could measure it is if you're incapable of measuring it, I guess.
Evidently.
So you're not a scientist then.
Well, then there's also the idea of even if it's in high concentration at the elevation the plane is, by the time it's hitting the ground, it's going to be dispersed so much.
Right. So what I'm saying is that it implicates any person who is capable of verifying it as not being true.
Sure.
Because that's the only way you could continue to believe it, is if anyone who could tell you it's not true is also part of the conspiracy. It's the only way it would make sense to them then.
Sure.
So, and again, it's sort of a denialism, sort of of things. where the only way you can continue to believe those things is if you just have some excuse for still believing it. And there's really no excuse in the age of information for believing in stupid shit. There really isn't. But somehow people do. Give me some more. Give me some more.
I'm reading down the one here that talks about Republicans rigging presidential elections, but I don't think it's been updated. I'll read this out loud. The Republicans use legal
chicanery.
I don't even know what that is. And fraud.
Tricky shit.
Okay. To win the 2000 U.S. presidential election. That would have been Bush and
Gore. That would have been 2000. That's
2000.
Right. Well, okay. Here's the conspiracy of that. Okay, the fact that if you were to recount Florida in any possible way, Gore won.
Okay.
Okay. But the Supreme Court ruled that Bush won.
Okay.
Okay. Also, Fox News called it for Bush.
Okay.
All the other organizations then followed suit and called it for Bush.
Oh.
So, actually, yes, that election was stolen.
Didn't know that.
That one actually kind of was stolen. But in the 2004 one, no. Kerry lost. Kerry lost fair and square.
Yeah.
And they tried it,
and
but
failed in
2008. Oh, I guess if their conspiracy failed, if it doesn't turn out that it actually won.
But they still tried.
Apparently, there was a conspiracy. It just didn't work out that time.
They will try again in 2016. Failed again, it seems, or did they? Yes, they did, but they didn't.
Okay, so now we're talking about the Russia shit.
Republicans won 2016.
Yeah, I don't.
Did this need to be updated, or something else
maybe
happened
what
here?
they're saying is, well, you see, no self-respecting insider Republican won, so clearly there was a conspiracy.
Oh.
Look, I'm not.
The Russians were on. No.
I mean, that's basically what they're suggesting there.
Well, the one right below it basically implies that all
which, by the
elections
way,
are
is a
rigged.
whole can of worms. I don't really want to get into. There's a whole cottage industry in blaming Donald Trump of Russian influence, whether it's warranted or otherwise. It is definitely the only thing that's being talked about in the country right now, and I would rather talk about something entirely different besides that. Because if it is, it'll be disputed in the courts. It'll be figured out in an amount of time where we will know whether or not that is true. And I think actually there's a testimony this week even from the guy he fired, James Comey.
Okay.
So I mean, there's more testimony coming through.
Okay.
And if we're talking about in terms of like scandals in Washington, okay, the Watergate scandal, it wasn't like it just happened like in 1 month or something. That went on for like a year before he actually resigned. So this is just the beginning of Trump's presidency. So if he actually resigns as a result, it's not going to happen tomorrow, guys. It'll happen like several months from now, or like next year or something like that.
Assuming
That's like at the earliest.
Assuming
he would do that. Personally, I don't think Donald Trump is capable of resigning. I don't think he's capable of having shame. So I don't think he would ever do it.
No.
It would take him being impeached to actually leave.
I don't even think
he would leave. Even then, he probably would. He would probably just be like, "No, I'm the president.
Like, no,
I am here. I won the election, so I get to stay here."
That's how it works.
So he probably would still be there even then.
Maybe.
And Mike Pence would have to like pull him out of the oval and like, "You're gone. It's my turn
Sorry,
now."
you got to leave.
Yeah.
Now let's get on this gay marriage thing.
Right. Right.
No,
oh, that's the gay agenda.
Oh,
yeah, that's the other conspiracy too.
Right.
Yeah. You see, all the gays are trying to control all of the children.
Well, the Beauty and the Beast movie
or something. Yeah, the
Hello.
Beauty and the Beast movie. Yeah, totally right.
There was a total gay agenda in that one. It's like, no, they were just trying to make a shitty movie good. And they didn't really do that.
They were also complaining about Frozen because
what about it?
The two sisters were really close, and hence it's promoting lesbianism. That's their.
She wasn't even into anybody.
She
was single the entire movie.
They hugged or kissed. I actually haven't watched the ending.
What sisters don't do that?
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway,
whatever. The point is, that's the kind of thing. Like another part of conspiracies is. There's nothing there. It's totally innocuous, but you're looking for
something.
it. You're looking. It's confirmation bias. So you find the thing in there that you want to be the thing you're looking for, and then it becomes the thing. Well, okay, if you can just declare something to be a part of the gay agenda, then I guess it must be right. Okay. It's just that's what people do. They have an agenda to call out people and say, oh well, that's the agenda of theirs. People do this all the time.
Ooh, look at this next one.
What's
Welfare is used to keep the black community and minorities poor.
Oh, is that a conspiracy now?
Evidently.
A grand conspiracy of... I mean, look, here's the thing.
I mean, I don't know what to even say about it.
Okay, I mean...
honestly.
here's the thing about welfare, okay, or or assistance programs or whatever you want to call this. How is that making them poor still? Is it because the idea is that they're getting money, so they never want to ever? Here's the thing.
Okay.
Being poor is degrading.
Yes.
Okay. It is humiliating to be poor. Okay. So take for example the WIC program. Okay. Do you know what the WIC program is? It is a nutritional program for mothers and their babies to get baby food, bananas, fruits, all kinds of stuff like that. Okay. Just all kinds of stuff like that. And to actually do it, you have to be given this check, basically, that has all the things listed on it that you're supposed to buy. And you have to get those exact things in that exact measurement. And if you don't get it, you don't get to have that thing.
Okay.
Okay. It is a very trialing process to just buy stuff through that, okay? Nobody likes doing it, least of which would be the person who is actually having to buy the stuff. So, so there's no person who does this kind of stuff who's going to tell you that they love having to go through all the onerous process. It's just because their circumstances require that, And so saying that, they just want to stay poor forever because they're on that is insane. And it's saying so what's the alternative? You want them to just never you want them to just starve in the streets then because they won't have the money, they won't be able to do it otherwise. In this country as it stands right now, there just happens to not be any opportunities for people because a lot of the jobs have been shipped overseas. And what's left are basically service jobs, which always really annoys me, by the way, when people talk about raising the wage to $15. I know we're sort of getting off topic here, but
go ahead.
When people talk about raising the wage at like McDonald's or Walmart or whatever, and they say, oh, well, it's just kids working there, right? Well, no, it's not kids anymore. Back when there were manufacturing jobs and that's where the adults worked, and then the kids worked at the the McDonald's or whatever, that was a fair argument, I suppose. Not really, but it was, I guess, a fair argument. Okay, well now it's the adults working at the McDonald's or the Walmart or whatever. So they are working jobs they're trying to raise a family on. So it makes sense to raise the wage. Not to mention the fact that inflation has not kept up with where wages are right now.
This is true.
So,
I'm kind of torn on the 15 an hour argument only because it's like it's a pretty simple job, but at the same time 15 an hour is really not that much.
I mean, it's really not. I mean, if
you're gonna break it down,
if you were to index it to inflation, it should be around like $17 or $18.
15 an hour is
so
not
15
really
is still
that much.
Is actually a rather modest proposal, considering where it should be reality, is $17. But
most starting salaries you like 25, and that's for like a good starting salary.
Right. So it's like.
So I mean, you're talking about
if you work somewhere for 30 years and you don't get $15 an hour, I think you're being cheated. Yeah. And that's all I have to say about that.
Well, you shouldn't have worked there for 30 years.
But the thing is, people's circumstances require that they may have to. So it's
true.
You can't really say what everyone's life situation is, but some people do that.
All right, let's change gears.
Let's change gears here.
Hitler did not commit suicide in 1945. He escaped to South America.
Oh, wow. The South America.
Either Argentina or Brazil, I've heard.
One of those two.
Ones.
Okay, all right.
Before committing suicide at the age of 101.
Oh, okay. He was just waiting for 101.
He did eventually commit suicide.
So he could be
I've heard one in
old.
Argentina, he died at 73, and then I heard one in Brazil, he died at 90.
This is like the Elvis Presley is still alive thing. Like,
I don't know.
people just say this and like, what's the evidence? You haven't observed
Evidently,
that
he didn't do any Hitler-like activity. He just didn't die in Germany in 45, according to either of these theories. I don't think any of them state that he tried to restart the next Reich or whatever, but they all just point to this idea that he didn't die.
The guy is dead, okay?
Well, he's dead now
dead.
for sure. He'd be, what, 120?
He's dead.
Plus?
Yeah,
right
he'd be,
that's impossible.
Yeah, no, he didn't escape.
He's definitely dead
He was
now.
surrounded by the Allied forces. He was gonna die anyway.
Yes.
Okay, he's dead.
There was a secret escape
He was a secret escape hatch, that's right. All the way down. All the way underground.
I don't know.
He went through the hollow earth, and that's how he did it. That's totally right.
Because
totally.
and then the Nazi base on the moon.
Right, that's right. See,
yes.
now we're figuring it out.
Okay. All right. So this is how things get uncovered. People just brainstorm.
See, you guys thought we were not telling you about conspiracies. We're telling you the truth.
We're telling you the truth.
Here's the real ones.
Alrighty. JFK was not killed by Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of there are questions about the JFK assassination for sure. And there will be people who will say, okay, it was just the lone gunman, and there'll be people who say, oh no, it was an organized group, it was the mafia, it was this or that.
Oh yeah.
This is one of those ones where it's a high profile figure being assassinated, and so of course there's going to be questions about what happened.
Of weird things that could come up about this. And it just so happened to be shortly after he came out with saying some, I don't remember exactly. I think it was like Federal Reserve or something.
I don't remember exactly, but
something in
but
that area.
so political ones, there's always going to be the conspiracies in politics because politics is largely a matter of conspiring to do things. So it's there's always going to be accusations of conspiracy there. But those are not always the most surprising ones to be levied. Let's talk about here's one. Hurricane Gustav was created by NOAA, the National Oceanographic Administration, an obscure hidden branch of it, though, as an excuse to keep the pretender and his boss away from the GOP National Convention, in which they mean George Bush and Dick Cheney, because blank. They don't have an answer for it. Okay, whatever. I don't really understand that one. I don't know. Again, political one, whatever.
Thousands of Chinese troops are massing on the Mexican border to invade the USA.
They're just waiting.
They're just there
waiting for the right moment.
For that moment to strike. I don't know why you even...
I don't even know.
I love that shit.
Oh, okay, here's a good one. Water fluoridation is part of an insidious communist plot to sap and impurify our precious bodily fluids. See the film Dr. Strangelove. Okay. So you know of this one, Derek?
Yeah, I've actually seen a fair amount of video on fluoride and the effects on the human body, and there's no adverse effects from fluoride in the human body at all. Because there was a lot of people saying like it calcifies various glands in the body. It doesn't. There's no evidence to support that fluoride has any adverse in moderation. If you have it like a lot, of course, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt you.
I mean, I guess if you were to like shove a giant if you were to choke on it,
anyway,
you might die.
Don't eat toothpaste, but if you just brush your teeth with it, it's fine. It's not a big deal at all.
So I mean, you'll find tons of conspiracy theories, but the common thread of conspiracy theories is just that again, it's sort of like it's constructed as there's this they out there who wants to do something, and like you won't know about it unless I tell you about it. It's all just, it's like, I mean you know what I mean. It's just like why do people think this? Why are people so obsessed with conspiracy theories?
I personally think that people love it because it's the idea of you're finding out something new, something that not many people know about yet. You're the first person or some of the first to actually find this information, and you get to expose those that are corrupt and lie and evil, stuff like that. Because I think a lot of people subscribe to this idea that there must be good and evil, and they are, of course, good. And therefore, by exposing this, you're doing your part of being good and finding and eradicating evil.
So they're not all ill-natured. They think
they truly have good intentions.
Have good intentions in some cases. So they don't
even
actually.
Even if they're freaking nuts.
so they mean well, but they're wrong, and that's the problem. You were telling me about the Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, tell me about that. Yeah, tell me about the Philadelphia experiment.
Like the USS Eldridge back in '55. The idea was they were trying to unify the four known forces of the known laws of physics, which is just gravity, electromagnetism, and then you have the strong and weak nuclear force. They were saying if you have a strong enough electromagnetic force that you could eventually bend space-time and make something invisible. And that's what they tried to do with the USS Eldridge.
I see.
Just create a huge electromagnetic field, and you make something that's made of metal invisible by bending space-time. The problem is, it's a lot of batshit kooky people that are reporting on why this is this was real. For example, we read on it, and it's like a guy that wrote it, but wrote
what was his name?
The Case for the UFO. I don't remember.
What was the name of the Al?
Oh, Al Bielek.
Al Bielek?
Yeah, that was the guy who I don't think anybody can really say he wasn't a part of the Philadelphia experiment, but
he was on the ship, you mean?
Yeah, okay. I don't think anybody can say he wasn't there.
No one can dispute that he wasn't there.
You can't say he was, but you can't say he wasn't. It's one of the you don't really know because it's obviously
it was so long ago, so
up.
he's just sort of okay.
Well, it's like
sure.
if something did go wrong, the U.S. Navy would deny that anything ever happened. If something went completely correct, they would still deny that anything ever happened.
So what did this Al Bela guy
Anyway,
even say?
the experiment started, and evidently things started getting really nasty. Like, people were starting to get melded into the ship, and there was all kinds of crazy shit going on.
Okay.
He saw that there was a portal on the side of the ship, and he decided to jump into the portal to leave the ship. Because he knew if he stayed on the ship, he was going to die. So apparently when he went through this time portal, which was a time portal...
And he knew it to be a time portal?
He didn't know that. He was just trying to get off the ship.
A time portal, samurai.
He jumped into a time portal, was transported to the year 2137.
Okay.
There he spent 2 weeks in a hospital, or maybe a month, recovering from radiation illness, which...
Okay.
Evidently, I don't know why that year or how he got him into a hospital, but he just knows he woke up in a hospital, and he was talking, and this is all on YouTube, mind you. Like, everything that
it's definitely real.
Is on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
And there's over an hour of it, of him talking about how he went to the future, and then he went, after he was well enough to walk around, they sent him further into the future. I don't know why.
And how, even?
They have time travel.
They turned on the time portal machine, and it made
in the
one
year
for
2137. They have time travel now. But like, he was talking about wars against the aliens and other things that are basically science fiction now of what we think of. But at the same time, it's like, okay, this is kind of entertaining. I don't believe any of it, but I'll still sit and listen to it because why not? And then yeah, he's very much goes in depth. So he's said this story hundreds of times because he was very well articulated and he knew exactly what he was going to say next. So either it's a very well drawn out falsehood of
so that's the thing.
Account,
when you're really
he really thought it happened.
When you're really good at lying about stuff, you can make it sound convincing, and that's very likely. I would say it's very likely that a guy is lying compared to he was on a ship that was melding the four fundamental forms of physics.
Things were melting.
Jumped into a time portal, and then went to another time portal, then came back to tell us all about it in an hour-long speech at some university. It was far... Which one is more likely is
I think the most likely thing is he was probably a victim of brainwashing of some sort.
I think the most likely thing is that he wasn't on that ship, and he's lying about the whole thing. That's what I'm thinking.
He could have been that, too.
But,
if he was part of an experiment, it could have been something.
But yeah, I mean, who knows for sure? But I seriously doubt it. But he's not the only kind of person like that. There was also Bob Lazar, who back in, I don't know, like the 90s or something, was on some conspiracy theorist shows where he was talking about how he worked in Area 51, and just a couple of his claims. He was hired to work as a scientist in Area 51. Okay. He browsed inside UFOs powered by element 115, which he said gave them their anti-gravity properties. But as we now know, Moscovium, as it's called, is in fact not capable of powering anti-craft machinery. Apparently, it doesn't do that. Apparently, it's not doing that. So he's wrong about element 115. But I guess at the time it must have been trendy to say 115. I guess that was element 115. We don't know about that one yet. I'm sure now they would say like element 150 or something, right? Like they had to. Just
I don't know what we're up to.
They have to keep going further out to say it's alien technology.
I don't know what we're up to. I think it's like 119, 120, and something like that.
And of course he's the guy who saw the secret reports documenting gray aliens involving with humankind for over 100,000 years. Oh my, of course,
Right.
that goes to like the ancient aliens conspiracy, which people believe in too. Apparently, and it's just.
Well, I think a lot of with ancient aliens, like that whole show is built upon the idea that ancient civilizations could not have built the pyramids. It's not possible. Therefore, they must have had help by somebody.
It's sort of like a condescension of previous societies is essentially what they're going for. They're saying just the Egyptians obviously they
could not have known how to do this, so therefore they didn't.
Yeah, therefore they didn't.
Like somebody did it for them or whatnot.
Or they say like, cave paintings have like pictures of flying men. Therefore, there were flying men and they were in spaceships and they're the aliens. And it's like well,
the more logical
that's a nice logical jump there.
They like to tell stories.
Yeah, they like to tell stories.
They like create.
People have
been thinking a narrative. Like
humans have been thinking about flight since the dawn of time.
Dreams. Ever
it's it's not because there were aliens. It's sort of like
it's like every tribe that wrote everything down had to be factual and completely what they observed.
Here's a good example of the jumping to
fictitious
conclusions, the conspiracy theories, and how you can assume crazy things with almost no facts at all. Okay, here's the best example of it: the planet Venus. Okay, the planet Venus has a very thick atmosphere. Okay, when people first knew of this fact, they believed there must be dinosaurs on Venus because Venus has a giant atmosphere. We know that if you have a giant atmosphere, and that means that's carbon dioxide that they found. Well, we know that plants create carbon dioxide, so there must be plants on Venus, and if there's plants on Venus, something's eating the plants, therefore dinosaurs. So they concluded all of that just based on the observation that there's carbon dioxide in the atmosphere of Venus. So here's an observation all the way to dinosaurs. Great idea there,
amazing,
guys.
right?
Great logical leaps, no facts at all, and people believe that kind of stuff.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that the surface of Venus is over 800 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, so I guess they're boiling dinosaurs. I mean, what are they thinking?
Literally spontaneously combust at that temperature.
Right.
We sent the rover there. It didn't last long.
It did not last very long. That's right.
Like seconds.
Yeah.
It lasted seconds.
We got to see some photographs of the surface, and
they knew not
to
send an expensive one because it wouldn't last long.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's actually on Venus that if you don't actually go to the surface, if you're on like X number of feet above it, the atmosphere is just like Earth.
Yeah.
It's actually habitable for a human being for the most part.
On Venus, you're saying?
Yeah. If you have to be like a mile above the ground level of Venus.
Okay.
It's not like we're talking we're talking like miles.
Okay.
Here. But it's still not possible.
It's not really.
It's still not possible.
In other words, Derek, not really.
It's not possible, but I'm just saying, like it's.
So we're talking about planets. So I guess the conspiracy theory involving planets, of course, is
Mars is habitable.
Mars is habitable. The other one is
there's actually water.
There's aliens on Mars.
Yeah, there's carbon-based life on Mars.
Yeah, or I was talking about like the planet X or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That's supposed to come hit the Earth.
Yeah.
Just the Earth, okay?
Just
Planet
Earth.
X is out there. It's just looking at Earth. It knows to hit Earth out of all the things in the solar system.
Everything it could hit.
And it's going to come for us, apparently, according to conspiracy theorists that believe in Planet X.
Well, it's no fun if it hits something that's
if it hits
to us.
if it hits Jupiter, that's no fun.
If it takes out the moon, who cares?
Yeah,
Whatever.
then it's no. Well, then we have no tides. But
screw the tides.
Tides go in, tides go out. You can't explain that.
I actually can, but whatever.
Right. But Bill O'Reilly definitely can't.
He can't.
And he's
never taken physics.
Yeah, and he's not doing much of anything right now. I don't think.
Probably for the better.
He's
anyway.
Yeah.
I brought up this one because I don't know if you had learned about this or not. If the Ark of the Covenant exists and it's in Ethiopia.
Okay.
There was like a whole episode, I think it was Brad Meltzer's Decoded, that talked about this.
Okay.
It's like they traced the whole idea of where it is, and they went to this actual place that they they spent the whole episode getting there, and they talked to a guy, and the guy was like, "Yeah, it's here. You can't see it.
You can't see it. You just have to trust me. It's here, but you don't get to see it."
Like,
record me on television saying this, but I want to get my my royalties here for being on your show. But please, you don't get to see it though. That's not the only show like that. And something that kind of disappoints me is if you go on the Science Channel on cable, the Science Channel,
it's becoming nuts.
So here's so that's exactly what I'm going to say. So I looked on there and I saw the programming. The first one was Noah's Ark. Has it been found? Has it been found? Where was Jesus from? And I'm just thinking, okay, look. I would expect this on like on a religion channel, but like it's on the Science Channel. We're talking about where Noah's Ark is. Okay, well, and then what's the evidence for Noah's Ark? Oh, well, we were told that it's supposed to have been here in this spot on this mountain, and we found some shape that's like a box, so that must be Noah's Ark.
It could be.
Hence, it's Noah's Ark.
Well, the thing that always helps is when it's on a secret area that's like
an area that you can't get to it. We can only get aerial photos of it, and that's
like it's restricted area.
Yeah,
it's like they're hiding it.
There's always it's interesting how
it always
whenever you're unable to verify something, your hypothesis is unverifiable. Therefore, conspiracy.
Now it's a cover-up.
It always works that way.
I don't know. I think that must be part of it. Like there has to exist somebody who's hindering you in order for a conspiracy to really exist.
It's really the phrase is "I want to believe" because they really do want to believe. They don't care if it's not true or not. They just want to believe in something, And for some people, it's just a desire to believe in some weird, obscure conspiracy theory because for them, that's what makes sense in the world. And I think that's really all we can say about conspiracy theories, Derek.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that's pretty much it. You know, you can believe these crazy ideas as long as you can come to terms with the fact that it's just a crazy conspiracy theory. Mm-hmm. And that's all that I can really say about it. You got anything else, Derek?
Not really. I mean, this is one of those subjects we could just keep going.
We could go on forever. There's just so many of them, you know.
There's so much. And we just go down the rabbit hole and just completely come out who knows where.
In the year 2742, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one to go to. See what society's like.
Yeah.
See if we've adapted socialism by then and whatnot.
I don't know. We'll find out, I guess.
So I guess we've had enough fun for today. We'll go from here. This has been Derek.
This is Bella.
And we'll see you next time.
See you then.